Hey, this your girl Michelle.
It's Mariah. Also known as Mariah Amazing.
And Yuna, hey.
Hey, and you are tuned into Melanin Voices.
Whoop, whoop.
Hey, y'all. So we are continuing our men series.
Actually, starting
And-
deeper. Last time we didn't really.
Yeah, this will be our first.
Well, we're not gonna post that one first.
I mean, no.
Okay. Anyway, y'all, we had some technical difficulties in our first episode, so this is really our first episode of our Men vs. Women series, and we have a special guest on the show. We are excited to have him here, so I'll go ahead and let him take over and introduce himself.
Oh, okay. I'm Jalal Sully. Some people know me as. I'm really excited to be on the Melanin Voices podcast. I appreciate you guys having me. I'm a fan. I listen in. I was telling Mariah and Yuna that I try to tune in as much as possible. So I definitely appreciate it. I'm excited.
Yes, we're so excited to have you.
Lit.
Well, we are super excited to have you. So let's go ahead and get into the nitty gritty. Since Mariah, this is your guest.
Oh.
Can you go ahead
Your
and
guest.
Our guest.
be our guest? Okay, all right. It's everyone's guest, but everyone had to pick a dude, and she chose you. So that's why I'm.
Are you guys all
choosing
doing
that.
one? Each person has to pick one?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good choice.
So.
That was it.
Oh.
Pressure's on Yuna now.
It's competition now. Okay.
Person. Okay. Pressure's on Michelle then.
Yeah. Mariah, do you have the outline up so you can kind of give a
synopsis?
Give us the.
Yeah.
Yes. Do you mind?
Yeah, I can do
cool.
that. So, the basis of this series that we're having is Men vs. Women, and so our lovely co-host Michelle was reading a book called Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus by John Gray, and came across a couple theories that he mentioned that she wanted to kind of bring to light and kind of have a discussion about relationships, business, and then just in general life and how women and men navigate throughout life. And so we decided to have a male guest per each of us, since there's three of us, and told Jalal because he's super cool and he reached out to me, so that was really nice. But he's part of a podcast called Mimosas After One. If you guys haven't heard it, go ahead and check them out.
Check it out, y'all.
And he's a producer, and also, he's just really cool. So I was like, why not have him on and get his kind of opinion on business and kind of how he's been able to navigate that and kind of see how these theories align with how he truly thinks about. So yeah, that's why I have him on the show, you guys. That's it. That's all.
Perfect.
I just want to say you guys are very thorough with the outline. We usually on Mimosas we have like 4 topics, and then when I'm just like, you guys got to expand on these because and y'all figure it out. But you guys are very thorough, so I like
Thank
that.
you. Oh,
Thank you.
heart.
Yeah, we try to. It kind of really helps us try to stay on topic because we start talking and we can go from.
We be going at it.
We be going from
We're
all
like,
the way
how do
over
we get
here
on
to all the way over
That's a
there.
good problem to have, though.
We're like
True.
It is. It is true. It's very true. So our topic is really focused on do you speak my language or do you speak our language? Since you are a male on our show, we're going to ask you a few questions. We're going to come back at you with some stuff. So be ready. We're going to put you in a hot seat. I'm not going to put you too hot of a seat because we don't know you like that.
All right, I'm ready.
But we're going to ask you a few
We're trying to
questions,
get to know
see
you,
what you
homie.
thought.
Can I come back and put you guys on the hot seat?
Yes,
Of course.
please.
Yes.
Please have us on the hot seat.
That's what, it wouldn't be fun to listen to us if we wasn't put in the hot seat either. So,
Fair enough.
All right. So if you don't just mind giving us kind of a profile about you, I know I had already kind of seen your answers, but do you mind going ahead and telling our listeners about, give us your name, your age, kind of your inspiration, and why should we follow you or why should someone listen to Mimosas After One?
Yeah, so like I said, my name is Jalal. I usually go by Jalal Sully. I'm 24 years old. Inspirations, I mean, I have so many. The ones that I gave you guys was like Gary Vee, because he's a lot, like on entrepreneurship side, he's really insightful. So I like him. My guy, Ani Hustles. Ani, shout out to him. He'll probably tune in. He's an entrepreneur as well, and he gives a lot of business advice. And so every week he does like a IG live. It's Ask Ani, and he lets you ask him like questions about business, entrepreneurship, and he gives really good answers. And he's giving out free games, so I would definitely check him out. And just in general, anybody that's following their passion and pursuing what they love for a living, that's who I'm inspired by in general. Another one I listed was Ravy B. She's a photographer, and she quit her job, and now she's on tour with Jay-Z and Beyonce.
That's crazy.
And
So dope.
that's just one of the
Beyonce.
biggest ones, the biggest success stories, and I follow her so for a lot of inspiration. For me, it's hard to describe like what I do. I would just say in general, it's entrepreneurship. I'm involved in the Lunchroom Network is my kind of brainchild right now. I'm trying to start a podcast network where I can have multiple shows, and the idea behind Lunchroom Network is when you walk into like the high school lunchroom, there's like the goths, there's the cheerleaders, there's the people arguing about sports. And so that was the idea behind that, is like I want to have a show for like something for everybody.
That's dope.
And so the first installment of that is Mimosas After One. And I produce that and edit the podcast and do all that. And then on the side, I also do Boulder Beard Company. So it's a beard care company, men's care. And we do, so far I've done beard oil, beard balm, and we're focusing on a few other products. And I also want to do maybe skincare, things like that, because I think it's overlooked for men a lot. And
Okay.
the other thing I do is jewelry. So they call me on the podcast Jalal the Jeweler. So I do like custom jewelry.
Wow.
So just a lot of different things. I like to have my hand in a lot of different pots. I don't like to stay with one thing. I get bored very easily.
Same.
So yeah, it's just entrepreneurship. I guess I would call it. And what was the last thing? Why should someone follow me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, if you listen to this and you get value out of it, then follow me. If you think I like to build with like-minded people and just share information. But I've never been too good at like selling myself, like why you should follow me. So if you find value, then follow me.
And if not, you're a hater.
You're a hater.
I'm a Gary fan too, by the way. Like,
yeah.
Every time I feel like, and I'm in New York, so there's always ways to get money out here. So when I think of Gary, when he be like, if you have a phone, if you have technology, if you have something, you could get it. So,
and he gives very practical advice. Like he said, go to the dollar store and like buy something, sell it on eBay, flip it, and it's, or go to like Craigslist, the free section, and pick up something and sell it on eBay, or just repost it on Craigslist even. So that's like practical advice for people, to just get started. That's why I like him.
I agree.
So we're going to get right on into things. I'm going to start with a quote, and then I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
So, it is very difficult for a man to differentiate between empathy and sympathy. He hates to be pitied. So, I'm going to ask this question. What does monogamy mean to you? And do you believe in monogamy?
Monogamy, so to me, yeah, just being committed to one person. And I think I saw on the outline it said like, could you love more than one person at a time?
Uh-huh.
I don't know if I could, honestly. Like I think you can have love for more than one person, but to be in love with more than one person is very difficult. I think like love is exhausting. Like to put in work for one person is enough, I think, for me. So I do believe in monogamy. I think for me personally, I can only really deal with being in love with one person at a time. That's just for me.
Okay.
All right.
Were you guys not expecting that? Or?
No.
No.
It's a completely different answer from our guests. The audio went bad or whatever. But yeah, it's a completely different answer.
Yeah.
What do you guys? I mean, you think you can be in love with more than one person?
Wow, that's a long side. Can you answer the question, sis?
I feel like I agree to disagree, kind of. I agree with love is exhausting. But I do believe it's possible to be in love with more than one person, especially if those people give you different things. So I'm going to agree to disagree on that. I believe you can. We'll probably get into this later, but just continue to be honest and of course, safe with everybody.
That's the thing. I think as long as you guys are discussing it and open, and you guys have agreed upon it, I don't see an issue with it. But for me personally, like, I don't have enough energy to give two people.
The capacity, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Literally, if you asked my husband why he got married, that's what would be his answer.
Yeah.
It's just too exhausting. At some point, it's just too much.
Stressful.
It costs too much money. It costs too much money to keep on trying to juggle all these chicks because then they want to take them out to
Hell
eat
yeah.
and buy
Adds
you
Feed
up real
stuff.
quick.
And if
me.
you got more than one, you
Getting
know. But then for
appetizers and
people,
drinks.
right, exactly. And then when you go on a date, they expect you to really do it big, so you really can't slack. There's another thing, especially trying to get some butt at the end. That's what he would say. If you trying to get some butt at the end, I'm gonna have to take her where she want me to go. So he would say the same thing, like it's just too much work, too exhausting, it costs too much. But to a man who has money, who has the means, who has the time, he may say that he can do it. It's perfectly feasible. It's not tiring because, like Mayweather, for instance, he probably would say, "Yeah, sure, I could take care of all my women,
And he could.
we all could be enjoying it, and
That's crazy.
this, that, and the third." So that's probably why he probably hasn't got married, and all his girls know that.
So, Jill, do you feel like if a woman dates you, then she would need to date another guy? Is that why you feeling like?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like okay. So you're saying on the reverse. I think I can definitely provide everything for a woman. I don't think she would need multiple people to provide things. But I can see from your face that you're like, he's pretty. He's a little too confident. No, but I
You
just
should be confident.
yeah, I just think that you should be able to get everything you need from one person.
Okay.
And if you can't, then it's probably not the right person for you.
Okay. That's it.
Oh, okay.
All
Well,
right.
moving right along. We'll go ahead and go into the next question then. So this next quote from the book is men argue for the right to be free while women argue for the right to be upset. Men want space while women want understanding. So I'll go into the question that we have for that quote. Can you be we already answered that one, so I'll go ahead into the next one.
So
Let me just go ahead and read the next quote. I'm like, we just already covered can you be in love with two people 2 different times at the same time. I mean, no, you're
No,
fine. No,
yeah.
you're totally fine. A man's deepest fear is that he is not good enough or that he is incompetent. He compensates for the fear by focusing on increasing his power and competence. Success, achievement, and efficiency are foremost in his life. A man appears most uncaring when he is afraid. Do you believe the way that men and women are socialized plays a part in the workplace equality? So, like, for example, women should get married and start having children early so they could put their career on hold, while men aren't pressured to be in relationships so they're free to start careers as early as possible and continue those careers.
I definitely think that how we're socialized plays a big part in that because from my perspective as a man, from an early age, you're conditioned to think like your value is directly correlated to what you can bring to the table and what you can provide for a woman. And on the flip side, maybe for a woman, it's the what man you can, I guess, bring in that can provide the most. Is that would you agree with that?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that plays a big role in it, where men can kind of get away with um, focusing on their careers for longer because they have to provide, I guess, and women there's not that same expectation.
Gotcha.
And so they're more pressured to like do the family thing, or raise the children or have kids before they get too old or something like that.
Yeah,
I think it plays a big role for sure.
I think so too. I think times have kind of changed because when I was coming up, well, when my mom and my dad were together, they're no longer together anymore. When they were together, he took care of all the bills. Like there was no 50-50. Like he's like, you're not a roommate, you're my woman. So there's no 50-50. I'm paying for everything. And if you want to go back to school, that's cool too. But as far as like what her priorities were was like taking care of me and like taking care of house. But now I see a lot of men are like, y'all people is crazy. Y'all think I'm finna be paying all the rent. You ain't gonna do nothing. Like I'm going 50-50. Like I don't care if y'all think it's roommate. I don't give a damn. I'm not paying all this room by myself. Obviously things have changed because back then a 1-bedroom in Colorado was like what?
Oh yeah, especially
$700. Now it's like
it's crazy.
Way more expensive. So I get like the price of things has went up and like the economy has definitely has increased, but it's definitely changed for me about how like women and men view things. I see some women who are the sole breadwinners for their families, and that used to be a thing of never even be a conversation. Now it's like women are like hustling hard.
I think I'm still a little bit old school in that
Oh,
sense. Oh,
go
I'm sorry.
ahead.
I think I'm still like kind of old school where I think like I would almost prefer a woman to like take care of those things, the
Hmm.
house and like raising the children.
I'm about to
Not that I'm
cry.
not gonna participate in that, but I just like that's why I work so hard because like I want to be able to provide everything
Gotcha.
so that my woman doesn't have to worry about
Be
that.
pressured
Do
to,
you have a
you know,
brother or like an
a
uncle,
cousin,
cousin, something?
twin.
I have four brothers,
No,
but they're all
I have
married.
a
Oh,
very I have a I have a quick question, and my question is, if you don't mind sharing, like I have two different perspectives on this, and I think one is because I think the black community is a little separated from why this is a thing, and then like anyone else outside of that. So, can you explain your ethnicity? What are you?
I'm
Damn.
Arab.
right.
I
What
don't.
are you?
Where are you?
But you know what I'm saying? Because I do have two different things. Because I
No, I
think
get you.
like
I
back
get it.
then, like
It
also
plays.
it's a lot. It's a lot of
Mhm.
there's a lot goes to this question. So go
Yeah.
ahead.
No, there's that perspective.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm Arab. I'm from Palestine. I'm Palestinian, and that probably does shape a
Yeah.
lot of what I think.
Yeah, and I don't
But
think it's bad. No, I think it's a good. I think it's a very. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah. Same.
I'm old school as well. I think what happens is what ends up happening is with the black community. A lot of the times, the women are like the sole breadwinners. Like I'm
Providers.
right, yeah, providers of the
Mhm.
That's true.
family, and then also the black men who struggle in America in general about like finding work and being able to provide and things like that. So to me, it's just it goes kind of both ways.
Multi-layered.
Where yeah, it goes multi-layered as well with women feeling like I know there's a lot of women today who feel like I would never stay home. I don't want to be a stay-at-home mom. I don't want to be a stay-at-home wife. I want to work. I want to have a career. I want to be the head. Like they always focus on being the head, blah blah blah, and always find like, oh, my man can't take care of me because if so many women are so focused and so educated on like putting all your eggs in one basket, right? Like, do you ever think as a woman, like, okay, what if happens if my husband no longer wants to be with me? I have no job experience. I have no work experience. All I know how to do is be a stay-at-home mom or take care of my kids, and almost on some like waiting to excel stuff. Like, she
yeah,
spent a lot of her time. You know, it just
Yeah.
depends. I don't know. What do y'all think about that?
I I wouldn't honestly. I wouldn't mind like being married and having him take care of most of the bills. Actually, that's a goal for me.
Hello.
But I would.
Speak the truth,
But I
sister.
wouldn't like you said like having multiple endeavors outside the household, like starting a business or something that has like my family name on it, like kind of like you, Michelle, like you and Jeff or whatever. He provides, and you have things outside of the house, so you're not just at home taking care of Nova. Like you have your event planning business, you have this millennial wife program that you're a part of. You have all these endeavors. So God forbid anything happen, I doubt that it would, but you would have all these endeavors and avenues that you're already making money, that you wouldn't have to be like, woe is me, like I have nothing to offer the world. Like you would have all these things. So that's kind of how like I kind of want to be in a relationship as well. Like sure, you can take care of financial stuff, but I'm not going to just be at home like not slacking off, because like taking care of a child is definitely a good priority to have, but more so like not doing anything other than that.
yeah, and that's
That
not to
makes
say that
sense.
you can't do things on the side like that. I think that's great. Like if
Yeah.
you have your own things on the side, hustles, that's cool. Actually, I would prefer that too because it's kind of like something to keep you busy, and
Not
there's
going
I want to
Raise
be
us
crazy.
able
at
to I want
home.
to be able
Yeah.
to support something you're doing too, like at the same time.
Right.
Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always get iffy with that question because that question always like it's so many different ways to look at that
Hmm.
question and determine because I just know so many. I have so many friends or I see so many successful women and I watch so many movies, especially in the black community. There's always movies where the woman is bad all by herself, and to hear like my friends like Mariah, like you got a brother, like you know what I'm saying. Like it's good that we have that perspective because so many women feel like no, like I can be better by myself. Like there's no man who come in and take care of me, and it's you know what I'm saying. There's always that fear of something happening and not having anything once the man let's say the man decides to leave the
To kind of
home
piggyback off
or
what you said earlier, I know like in the household that I grew up in, my dad was like the sole breadwinner.
Hmm.
Like my mom worked sometimes and
When
sometimes
she
she did.
wanted to.
Yeah, sometimes she didn't. But I know now that we're all like older, it's kind of like I see her like struggling to find her niche, struggling to find what makes her happy and like cuz first of all, she need to find something to do and get out of my business. But
don't do mom like that because I'm about to call her.
She listening.
I'm
I'm
gonna
listening.
listen.
Tell mom to listen
Turn
to
it
this
to
episode.
20.5 seconds.
no, seriously, like I want her to find something to do, not only so she's out of my business, but so she has her own thing to make her happy.
Right.
Because I don't want her to put all her like happiness into us and we, disappoint her or whatever or blah blah blah. So now that's the kind of life that I thought I wanted, but it's like I understand the importance of having my own hobbies, if you will, or my own thing that I want to do. I don't maybe necessarily want to work for somebody, but it is dope to be interested in your own thing. Like, for me, like I enjoy cooking, so I would want to, learn more about that.
She
maybe
can throw down, y'all.
Maybe go to culinary school, maybe start a YouTube channel or something like that,
Yes, look at her. Dish.
Una dish. I like that. Una
Dope.
dish. Yeah.
Coming to you soon.
I have another question. Let's keep going with the questions because I don't want to get too caught up.
She just said that earlier too. Feel all over the place.
Feelings.
So deep in my feelings.
Okay, here's another quote. Just as a man is fulfilled through working out the intricate details of solving a problem, a woman is fulfilled through talking about the details of her problem. Should women and men talk about their past partners with each other?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I think it can be beneficial, but it's tricky because you don't want to talk about something that's going to make your partner insecure.
Right. Like he had a big old.
You want to be with someone who's insecure?
I don't want to hear about that.
Yeah.
But do you want to be with someone who's insecure?
I don't know.
I just think you shouldn't do things to willingly make your partner insecure.
There was like this podcast I listened to, and they were saying, somebody wrote in like through the listener letters, and they were like, I'm getting over an ex, and I just recently told my girlfriend that I can't get over her, and I'm going to therapy for it, and she's helping me work through the situations and my feelings, my emotions. I'm like, I don't think I have the capacity to have my man come to me like, hey, babe, my ex hurt me so bad, I'm in therapy, and like you gotta hold my hand. Like if I freeze up, I'm tense because I seen her or seen a post she made. Like I don't know if I could be that.
But at that point, you probably
process because it's kind of like you need to like leave and like get yourself together, and like once you get regrouped and you're able to like handle your emotions and can come see me. But like right now, you're obviously very involved emotionally in that person. You should work that out before you like start anew with somebody else, because you're not really starting anew. You're like starting, from halfway point with somebody else. Like you already have on. So I don't know. It's like it's awful, like really weird to like. It's like you have to say it at a good time. I remember Neo saying him and his wife when he first met her, their very first date, he was like, "Who all have you been with in the industry?" Like made her like tell him all the names she's ever dated in the industry.
Wasn't there something about like Tiana? She told Iman Shumpert like all the people, or was it the other way around?
Maybe
they both did.
Yeah, and then Neo and his wife too. Yeah. And I don't know if I could do that the first date. Like,
but you don't want to be out in public and
I'm embarrassed, right?
Yeah, like you don't want to. Oh, babe, I forgot to tell you, or I didn't tell you, or you didn't want me to tell you that we had sex a few times, or we had a relationship with each other. Would you feel some type of way at that point? Like,
I can see that. Yeah, you don't want to be out and feel stupid like there's somebody there that has something with the person that you're with.
Yeah.
So yeah, but do you need like a full list?
Rundown.
Like,
I mean,
I feel like it's
maybe if you're out and somebody's out there, you let them know. But
hey, tonight we're going to this party, and you may see so and so that I dated.
Yeah.
Versus like,
here's the
all
rundown.
the 10 people I've been with in the past year.
I feel like it is important to discuss your relationship, but I guess there's certain aspects that maybe you shouldn't discuss.
Right.
Like bedroom talk is kind of like. Like I didn't like when my partner did this, but you don't have to tell him, oh, he did this so good and like he was the best at that. Like you don't have like you have to be careful and be mindful of the things that you tell your partner, because if the tables were turned, you don't want to hear something and he's like, oh, my ex cooked fucking spaghetti way better than you.
Your spaghetti dry as hell. Like
yeah.
Well, to me, like. Being married, okay. Jeff and I talked about our past relationships. I think I would want him to tell me that his girl made jerk chicken better than me.
Okay, so
I would want him to but I would want him to like ask her like ask him like what did she put in it, because I would just make it
Okay,
better.
so
Like what did she put in it? Because I'll put that in there. That's something that can change to me. Like I don't care about stuff like that. Like to me,
I'm
it's like
too
yo,
sensitive.
like let me
yeah,
know so
and
I can
and
fix it.
and
Like, don't act like
Don't
y'all
do
know
that.
Michelle is like the hard ass of the
She is
of the
like
podcast.
she is like like Michelle is
So
definitely
that's
a
where
dude in our past life.
that's
we
where
talk
that
about past relationships.
that
I think
open
past stuff is
communication is important in
Yeah.
knowing your partner,
Yeah.
like giving a fuck about their.
and not taking it personal. I don't take anything personal, honestly. It's just I'm always big on psycho. Well, to me, I'm bad because I psychoanalyze everybody because I just do that. It's something I do, but your past is very important so I can know what the heck is what roadblocks I'm going to hit going into the future. So there's some things that we get into, like there's baggage, like I say. That's why I'm curious to know, is it good being married early or good being married later in life? Because as you progress, you're going to create more baggage. Like I had less baggage going into my marriage early than I would have had going into my marriage maybe in my 30s or 40s, because I'm going to bring more baggage to the table. So that's why I think it's important to talk about the past, because I need to know what the heck you bring in to this relationship that we're going to have to unpack together. Because if this partnership is going to work, then I got to know what is your background, what is your past, so I can know, okay, this is something that you're probably going to struggle with, and can I deal with that in my relationship? Can I deal with that to continue being with you? If it's something I can't
So
deal
what
with, then
kind of
I'd rather
questions
just
about
cut it
his
off
past
here.
would you like? Do you ask or would you ask? Like what?
First, well, I'm always big on first thing is family. Like I always like to know if my before I even know, and this is for ladies advice in general, knowing where your man's background is. Like if does he come from a married home, a single family home, a divorced home, a traumatized home? I always want to know that factor. Like for instance, like my husband, his mother passed, okay, as a child. So there's a lot of things that he lacked, as in like nurturing. Like his trauma is in the nurturing part, where he's never had like that woman, like that mother to son bond, right? But that's something I had to literally think about before I married him, and knowing that going into this relationship, he's not going to have that emotion that I'm gonna need him to have, right? So like even with past relationships, right? If he like that freaky crazy stuff, right? Dominatrix, and I know I can't do that, and I know I can't get into that, then I'd rather cut that off now. But if he's saying like, yeah, my girl used to do, do some crazy stuff to me, I might have to like go to the store and be like, all right, I gotta try some new tricks. Let me read this book. Let me try
But
to,
I think can't you guys can't you
figure
tell
out
your
if I
partner
can.
what you like without being like, oh, the last one did this and this? Like you can say
I
what
hope
you
so.
For
enjoy.
me, I would be
I would
comparing
never say
myself.
that.
Like
Focused
if he
on it.
told
You
me,
don't
"Oh
have to
yeah,
be
she used to do
focused.
cartwheels," I would like.
I want to do that.
I wouldn't
I
go
would say
into
I would just say
detail.
I like this. I like
want to
this.
go
I
into
don't like this. I'm
details.
not gonna be like I like this because he did this and it was so good. I would just cut it off as I like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't bring
Yeah.
I wouldn't bring the
Totally
other person
disrespectful.
in. I guess you're right. Like I guess we more so we don't talk about like, oh yeah, she did this and she did that. More
Right.
so like, okay, this is what I like. But sometimes people don't ask those questions. I don't know why people get so far into a relationship and they just now find out like I should ask that question
Well, I think
early
a lot
on
of
and we
times
could have cut this
there's red
early.
flags early
If
on
that
that we
makes
just
sense.
ignore, like
Yeah.
because
That's true.
it's new and you're having fun or
Yeah.
whatever.
True.
You like most of I can look back and say every single time something went wrong, there was red flags.
Mm-hmm.
But
That's
you're
true.
just
Yeah.
kind of like, all right, well, I put up with this, or it's not that big
It's
of a
not that
deal.
big of a deal.
But then it just snowballs and gets bigger. It gets
Mhm.
scaled the closer you guys get, and it eventually blows up in your face.
Seriously, like literally.
So I think that's why it's important, like what you were talking about, the baggage and all that, to unpack that early. That side, yes, it's. I think you should talk about that with your partner. But I was, as far as the insecurity part, I was just saying, like from past experience, a lot of times women will ask you things that they don't want the answer to. Yeah,
I mean,
and then they'll be like, "Well, why did I?
They
I don't
don't
know
want to
why I asked
hear
you
it,
that."
right.
And I'm like, "Well, you asked."
You-
Like,
I don't want you to say it like that. That's
Right.
not me.
You ain't got to be exposing us.
You ain't have to say
Too
all
loud.
that.
Well, to me, I asked too many questions. I asked way too many questions because I learned from a
Yeah.
man
No,
that
he's
if you don't
definitely not.
ask the question, he ain't gonna tell you. So if he turn around cheat
You
on
need to
They
me because well we
sugarcoat
will.
didn't
it.
Like,
ask,
why I gotta
well
ask if you cheat?
whose
Like, you
fault is
shouldn't
that?
even done it in the
Yeah.
first place. In the second place, I ain't gotta ask in the second.
In
No,
the
not
third
even
place.
cheat, not even cheat, not even cheat. Like,
Did
oh,
you
did you do
have
something
sex
with her?
with
Like, you
her
gotta
But
ask.
on Tuesday?
what's the situation if he's
That's a little much.
if he's first of all if he's cheated on you and hasn't told you? What's the situation that you gonna feel like? Oh, it's 3 months. Every 3 months, I need to ask him, babe, did you cheat on me?
First
Like,
of all, why are you cheating? Why do I need to
how are you
ask
gonna
you?
know? Okay, you
Why
said
did you have
Cheating,
sex with
y'all.
her?
Cheating
Why
is
do I need to
too
ask you?
general. Like,
That's my
hold on, let me give
okay.
y'all.
okay. All right.
Hey, let me give y'all an example. Let me give y'all an
Mhm.
example. So at my job, right? So Jeff went to Buff State in New York. New York is huge, y'all. Huge. And of course, at my job, small job,
Oh
Jeff
no.
met a new girl who went to the same college as him. Same college. So we had to have these like check-ins, right? Like with the new person, like, oh, just get to know them, like facts about each other. And she's like, oh yeah, I went to Buff State. And I was like, oh, do you know my husband? Like, yeah. And I'm thinking,
Right.
yo, like she might have know like him or his friends. And I'm like naming his friends, like, yeah, this, and that. And she was like, girl, I gotta tell you, like,
What kind of talk? Like, what kind of
I
talk?
was like, so exactly. So I literally asked her in the room, did y'all have sex?
Michelle, this
And,
does
I
not surprise
just asked
me.
her,
Okay,
oh,
good.
okay.
and she said no. She said no. But then I text Jeff. But then I left and text Jeff, and I asked him because I didn't even want to say I already
Mhm.
asked her because I want to catch him up if he said something crazy. So he said no too. So it was mutual, like whatever. So I had to make sure. Isn't that crazy? But am I wrong
No,
for one
just
asking that
asking why.
question right then and
What
there?
unit?
I'm thinking like, do you feel like you should have asked him instead of
Okay,
her?
that's what I was gonna say too.
I don't know because I just
No,
feel
no,
Come
I
on,
kind of
no,
feel like
Michelle.
there's a little
no,
part of me that makes that to me be like, well, damn, are they insecure in their relationship? Like, does he cheat? Like, does this happen often? Like, why? That's
no.
for me. That's
So
what
if you
I
was a
would.
girl, and you met a new girl, you would be like,
When
"Why
I
are you
went
asking me
home
this?"
when I go home and talk to my friends, I'm like, girl, you remember such and such? Well, I seen his wife and she asked me if we had sex. Girl, he must be cheating on her
And
or something.
that kind of gives her a little bit of power too
Yeah,
over the
True.
relationship.
yeah.
That
To
No,
me,
like you guys aren't
no.
all the way good.
yeah.
That's the to me that's our problem as women is that we don't have the guts to talk to the woman. That's the problem, is that I didn't feel insecure, I didn't feel any type of way, but I also wanted to just ask her straight up, like, why can't we come together as women? Why do we have to go? And this is where the communication breaks down in between. Like, she shouldn't have a problem with me asking, my husband shouldn't have a problem with me asking, and as long as I know that we good, that's all that matters. Too much we focus too much on, oh girl, they must not be good, or that girl had the power. No, at the end of the day, if me and my husband know what is good and he knows I'm like too open with communication, I'd rather just go straight to the person and ask her. Like that's what I feel like happens all the time as women, for sure, is that we let men be the sole body of our communication. Why can't we talk to each other? And it won't be no like hierarchy. It won't be no hierarchy. She feels some type of way, girl. Let me tell my friends. Like, I don't give a care.
Y'all were in that setting, so it was different. Like, she came to you first, so y'all already in a conversation. Like, you have to like, oh, they went to Buff State. Let me go over there and talk to her. She came to you and said, "Hey, I gotta tell you something." So at that point, I guess it's a little bit different.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. That's
You
just
gotta-
me. To me, I don't know. I didn't feel no like, girl, they must have some problems. Like, no.
Well, girl, you a different breed, so let's just.
From I say from my perspective though, like I know women kind of look at it like I don't want them to be men might be like I don't want them to be talking because I don't want them to know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you trust me, like you should come to me and ask me about it. And if I tell you it's not nothing, then you should take that. And I feel like you shouldn't have to talk to somebody
somebody
else.
else.
But I asked them both.
Did you ask him first?
I was already talking to her, so I
So
didn't
you were
go.
having a conversation with her.
Okay.
I was already talking to her, and then I was like, "Oh, did y'all?" And then I talked to my husband, and I said like, "Oh yeah, guess who works in my job?" Da, da, da. And then he said no, and I was like, "Oh, okay." Like, I was already in conversation with her.
Like me personally, I would never ask another dude like, "Hey, did you do something?" Like I'll ask her, but I wouldn't
Yeah.
want to give because then he's like, oh, he's worried or something. You know,
Like
I don't want to
Michelle,
give nobody that
how
I
would
don't
that
know.
make you feel? Just I just want to know, how would that make you feel if Jeff went, like, if somebody from Montbello, let's say, I don't know if you, whatever, if somebody from Montbello went to school with Jeff, and like that conversation came
Right.
about, and he's like, bro, did you smash? Or I don't know how he
I would
talks. I
hope
don't know
Jeff
how he
don't say
talks, first of all,
smash.
but if
Right.
he was like, did you have sex with my wife or whatever, how would you feel about that? Or
I
would you want
wouldn't
him to come
care.
at? Okay.
I just I don't know. I just
Yeah, as long as it's the same
Yeah,
on
no,
both
I
because
guess
sides.
I'm just I don't know. I guess I
Yeah,
don't
that,
know. To me,
like
I feel like we focus too much on what other people would think. I don't care what other people think. I wanted to know, why do I have to wait? And not like I don't trust my husband, but if it come to mind, then my husband didn't feel no type of way me asking. He actually laughed at the situation because he was like, "Oh, that's funny." Like he would be like, "Oh, dang, you don't, you made her feel some type of way. Now she gonna think she got the power." Da, da, da. Like I think so. I think too much we focus on what other people are going to think or perceive of us, and that's why I just so don't care. But hey, everybody has their own opinion, and
right.
that's just me, and that's it.
all right.
I said
Oh
what I
well.
said. That's what
Well,
I just want to say. It sounds like you guys are very I
secure.
know you don't need
Yeah.
my approval because you just said you didn't, but it seems like you guys are like very secure in your relationship, and it seems like things are like even kill. So the
Yeah.
things that you do, you're okay with him doing, and vice versa, and that's kind of what is important. So
Yeah. So kudos.
if that's what you want to do, girl, go ahead.
Speaking of partners, my next question is, what do you look for in a potential partner?
Ooh, let's get into it.
Right.
A lot of things. Oh shoot, what don't I look for? Communication is big for me. Like I look for somebody that can communicate what they want, their feelings effectively. Like I'm not a mind reader. I don't expect you to be a mind reader. So communication is important. Um, Loyalty. I look for somebody that will kind of like hold you down in your absence. Like if there's a situation, you got to know that like she's solid. And one that's like overlooked, I would say just like in general self awareness, awareness of her surroundings, kind of like picking up on cues and things like that. I like somebody that can pick up cues and is aware of herself and how her actions affect me. So those are a couple, but there's a lot. She's deep, Sai.
What,
I know.
Yuna?
Nope. Go
Oh,
ahead.
he's so deep.
Continue.
Like, he's very
Yes.
deep. He's
I'm
so
like,
deep.
well,
I'm,
how would we rebuttal that? I'm
I know
like,
how like
mm.
I overthink
Very
things,
deep.
and I know how like I think about how my actions affect people a lot, and so like I need somebody that's like overthinks things too, kind of in a way, like
Yeah.
deep thinks. So that's what I mean by awareness is just like a deeper person, somebody that's just like aware.
So if you were at a damn bitch, I hella took your fucking question. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Yuna Bear.
Yeah, he's too
Okay.
deep. Too deep.
So if you were at an event or a mixer and you were just out with your friends and you're having a good time for the day, what would make you approach a girl like, oh wow, I find her interesting, I want to approach her? What would make you like go on a limb and approach someone?
Well, I think setting is important. Like me personally, I like to do things over time, unless we're in like a setting like that, like a club or something where it's expected.
Yeah.
I don't usually like go up to people in the gym or in the mall or something like that. Like I'm not gonna go like, oh, I'm gonna go spit some game. Like so
Right.
I like to like people you're around, like in school or something like that, build slowly over time. But at like a mixer or something, it's based off of attraction at first, and then you see if there's something there, and that's what keeps it going.
Yeah.
So when I heard you answer this question initially, it sounded like you have those. What's your ethnicity again?
I'm Arab.
It sounds like you're choosing a woman is kind of closely related to your traditions in a way that like women are to respect, like you. I don't want to like assume, but it seems like
No,
in
I don't take any offense. So
yeah,
you could say,
it
but
seems like women are like to be respected and be aware of their surroundings and don't embarrass me as a man. Are you? Hmm, that's kind of when I got like basically don't embarrass me. Are you? Are what you look for in a woman closely related to your traditions or religions, or and are you? Do you follow like the traditions of your? your background?
It definitely affects it, but like I follow to the best of my ability. But like I'm American as well, so that like shapes things. Like I was born here, I was raised here, so it's definitely not as traditional as maybe some other people. Um, I'm not embarrassed by it. I wouldn't say like you would embarrass me if we're out, like something like that. But my religion and my traditions and I guess my upbringing from my family do affect how I like pick women or how I move in general for
California.
myself too.
I agree with that with
But
all
yeah,
of
I would
us,
say
honestly.
myself
Like,
too.
like we just sat and talked about kind of like, oh, my parents raised me like this, and this is why I am the way I am today. So I think a lot of it just shapes our values
Yeah.
and morals.
Definitely.
So I agree.
Especially like how you were raised, like definitely like shapes. Because there's people out there who like did not get no love at home, and you can tell. Like how they have to like be like real like boastful about things, or have to like spread themselves thin to like get love or feel love or whatever the case may be. Just you can just tell that they were lacking love or
We're
lacking
complete
attention,
I was just
opposite.
or
about to say
complete
that.
exactly, or had too much of it. So
Or they have too much, like they got no love and they want to give out
right,
all the
same.
love because they never got
A
that.
mood, yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yep,
It's crazy to think about how that affects you
agreed.
because like
Hmm.
especially in a lot of Arab communities, like people don't show affection too much. Like from the older generation to our generation, it's like a very big disconnect.
Hmm.
And so I think that does affect us in our relationships, like how we deal with people, and like especially with our partners,
Has
like
that
how much love
affected
we
you in a relationship?
definitely, yeah. I would say it not in a negative way, but I would say because of that lack of connection, you do search for it in other things, in other relationships.
That's that baggage I'm talking about, y'all. Do you tell me that baggage? So
Oh, here we
you
go.
didn't get no love. It is
That's not baggage.
Oh Lord,
Yes,
that's
it is baggage. So she's gonna have to
experience.
know that he's not gonna show emotion or he's gonna feel this way. That doesn't mean that he doesn't love me. I'm gonna have to maybe teach him a little bit of things that I like, and that's just gonna be our way of balancing each other. That's what I'm saying. Like I think it is a part of baggage in a way to me. Um, that's all. No, it's not bad.
Not
No,
bad
there's
baggage,
good
just
baggage,
a
bad
part of the
baggage, and there's just
package.
something that's like that's the only way your
Yeah.
relationship is really going to work is if you understand where that person has come from, their background, and understand that these things are going to be a weakness.
Right.
But knowing that this person is meeting you at least halfway or more than halfway, that you can work those things out.
Right.
If you want to,
If
but
you
just
want to.
know that 80-20, you already know. That 80-20,
Right.
y'all,
Oh,
you
here we
already know
go.
you ain't going to get 100%.
What's this?
80-20?
What's 80-20?
Oh Lord. Michelle, go ahead and
I
explain
just
to
say
us.
quick. You're never going to get. I believe that you never get 100% of a person. Like you're never always going to get 100% of what you want from a person, and it's always
Oh, so that was brought up on mimosas today, but it was 90-10.
now people
So-
get 90.
I need
you
190
You
then.
can get more.
Right, there's more. I can get
And
more.
like, if you
95
get
maybe
90,
somewhere else.
you found someone you could marry. I
Definitely.
think the 90 is a marriage thing. Like
Yeah, like marry them today.
yeah, like I'd say Jeff got 90 or 95, 92.
Okay.
But
Okay.
but that's only sometimes though, because sometimes his percentage can drop. Like your progress report. You did good this month.
You give him a progress report.
No,
Let
for
me
real, you
find
did
out.
good this month. 90% this month. 70% this month. This month.
Probably so
She
serious
really
too.
does probably type it up and everything
real.
with comments.
Then
That's
when
helpful.
Nova
That's
came,
helpful.
Have it a
you
red
probably
pen.
got 100% that month with Nova. Yeah,
Aw.
because he got
That's
100%
sweet.
that
That's
month.
awesome.
And then you get full everything. So
Full access to the cookie jar or
full
what?
access where there's mini cookies. It's like I'm just playing.
Bye.
Okay,
Good job,
whatever,
Jeff.
Whatever. Give y'all me progress reports. See how he act.
Oh, already.
Okay, Una
Type
dish.
of herself now.
Una dish. Okay,
Unit
anyway,
is.
I have a question for our guests.
Yes.
And this is if you feel comfortable, if you don't. Do you feel comfortable with us asking a little bit about your other, or do you not feel comfortable?
Your significant other.
Yeah, that's fine.
No, not your significant other.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking. Go
three
ahead.
words.
Sex. S-E-X.
The 3 letters,
Three
sis?
words. 3 letters.
You did. I was like relation.
I know what.
Do you feel comfortable or you
I mean,
don't?
I don't want to get into like my personal.
Yeah, no, we won't ask you no personal.
But
Well,
I'll answer in general questions?
I
What you
think
want to ask?
I think there's a safe question on here, but you let me know if it's
Okay.
not.
Go ahead.
Should women be focused on learning more about what men need in the bedroom?
Yeah, I don't think it's just on women though. I think both sides should be focused on learning their partner and knowing, what how to please them, because it's not really about you, right? It's about your partner in that case. So I think you should talk about it beforehand, so it's not awkward, so you're not talking through it during, but you should
During.
get to learn your partner over time and know what they like and what they don't like. But I don't think it's just on women. Was that question like specifically tailored to women, like because for a specific purpose?
That's for both of us. No, I think we both can answer the question honestly, men and women. Really, it's not.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
on
from
both
both
sides.
sides. What about y'all, ladies? What y'all think?
I agree. I think that we should definitely be in tune with what our partner wants and likes. And if you think it's not working, then ask them what does work.
Really? Even
Like,
if you don't do that?
yeah. I mean, if you don't do it, sis, you gotta find somebody. I know, don't be laughing at her.
I'm just saying.
Even if you
No.
don't do
Even if
that,
you don't do that, like,
If
come
you
on.
don't do that, then
You
well, okay. So if he asks you, like, what do you don't do, sis? Because I'm just kind
I'm
of
just
like,
trying. I'm trying to
if
keep.
he asks you
I'm
something
trying to keep
outrageous
this
and you don't do
PG,
it,
but there's a lot of men out there who have crazy fetishes. Like,
absolutely, and
so
I
you might
just
be
say
with
can
no.
we make
someone
13?
PG-13,
I would like,
whatever.
okay,
What do you do if you find out about something like that
Yeah,
after,
that's what
like
I'm
after you're
saying. That's what
married?
I'm saying.
after you're married, ooh,
Sorry,
that's tough.
you
Like,
kind of.
y'all didn't have this conversation before y'all got
No,
married,
because some things won't have. Clearly, you won't find out stuff until you really don't truly know someone.
and
Until
some people don't.
forever.
Some people wait until marriage too. So there's that aspect.
What
So
you do, woman?
can y'all talk about? I mean, you don't have to have sex before you get married. Can y'all talk about sex before you get married? Because I'm sure that should be a
But
topic
what if
to
it's?
speak. Like, hey, I don't think that I'd be into dominatrix,
But what if it
or
sounds good? Like, yeah,
I
I
don't
could
want
do that.
any shit in my ass.
What if it sounds good
What
at
things?
first?
What if things change too? Like people grow and
No.
like different
Or,
things
or, or
eventually, and
grow to like it.
tastes change.
I can honestly say from this point forward, moving on throughout my life, I'm not gonna want anything in my ass.
I'm sorry you feel that way.
Oh! Wait!
I said PG.
I'm just saying, like that. Mariah, I'm done with you. I'll wait. Y'all are childish.
I'm weak. Unidish unicorn.
Stop.
I'm starting to catch on to the Unidish
Unicorn.
series.
I'm telling you, Unidish is a good series. Coming to you soon.
We're gonna go head back to the question.
Go ahead, sis.
I
Go
think
ahead.
at certain time in certain periods, it's kind of like sometimes the guy would be more like the sex would be more geared towards pleasing him, and I think sometimes it will be more towards pleasing the woman. So like sometimes it's okay to give him like more attention than you get in certain sessions, if you will, and then other times it's like, all right, it's about me now, so
Or equally. Don't.
Yeah, you gotta tell men too, because they will be like, nah, all the cookies, all the everything, and they don't want, they need to come over onto your side. So
I agree though with what you
you
say,
need to
because sometimes like I don't want you to just do something because I don't want you to just reciprocate because you feel like you need to. So I agree, like sometimes it should just be about you, sometimes it should be about me.
right.
Because it's like you got to go with the vibe, and I want you to do it when you want to.
Right. And then sometimes with pleasing him, it would please you and get you more. So where you don't even need to worry about it, but I got you today because doing this made me feel like I'm yeah, like
feel good.
I feel
right.
like yeah, I got it,
Control.
All right,
Control.
Janet.
Take control. That's what I'm saying. You're authoritarian.
She
You're
is so
authoritarian.
irritating.
Yes.
Okay.
Just what we deal with.
That's true. Very true. But do you guys
Okay.
believe, this is my last question, and there's detail to this.
Somebody
If
else
you
will.
don't do it, will
I
somebody
think
else?
that of course, but
Of course, what?
of
sis?
course, of course, somebody else will do it if you don't. But you have to like know your partner. You have to trust your partner, and like for me, I know that if I don't do something, there's another person that will. But will you go get it? are you gonna, be patient with me, and maybe I'll eventually do it, or I'll probably never do it. But we have to be like, I don't know. I'm sure I know that there
there's
is
somebody out there that's gonna do it.
Yeah,
for sure.
I know that, but will you go get it? Like,
And-
will you just want it that much to where you just gonna go get it? What, Mariah?
See, there's a lot of things that I'm just like, something just like, okay, like I didn't do that for real. You're mad about that, and then the other things I'm just like,
Bro,
I can see why you be mad. Like I can see.
But honestly, those are key things that you do. I think for those people who don't do it until maybe after marriage, or
Definitely
I think
before
those
marriage
conversations need to happen. Like, this is number one priority to me. You have to give head. If you
I'm
don't
that's a
out.
do
deal
that,
breaker.
then
Right.
we might have to reevaluate this, right? Or you have to do this if it's that priority. If that's something that person really likes, I think it is okay to have that conversation and say, it's a make or break. Or saying, like, if you don't do it but you're open to it and I'm open to teaching you,
Yeah,
then let's make this work.
But it's a relationship is about compromise, because this may not be related to the bedroom, but if you don't cook eggs, like, you just won't do it, that don't mean I'm gonna find somebody else who does do it. We just gonna have to compromise on that one. It's the same.
All
You
her
just never
analogies
eat
have been
eggs.
food
Not gonna eat
analogies,
eggs.
like
I
the
know, I'm like,
spaghetti,
what? Food?
the eggs.
I'm like, where?
You
Okay,
hungry?
you the dish trying to plug herself. You the dish coming soon to a YouTube channel near you.
Stop it.
Do you guys? I mean, can I ask a question? Do you
Of
guys
course.
think that, like, do you do stuff that you wouldn't normally do, like when you love somebody?
Hell
Yes.
Hell motherfucking
Like,
Yes, every day.
No.
Michelle,
That's
don't.
I
That
don't
Or
I said
it's
I would
just
know.
never
you
do.
you're
That's not
into what
doing
you're
well.
into, and that's it.
I'm open to
I'm
trying
open.
things, especially
I
for
think-
somebody that
I think-
I'm open to
yeah.
trying things, because I want you to be I want you to be open too, because I know. Never mind. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll do that.
I was about to go.
I think love is patient too. Like, if I don't do that now, I'm not saying I won't do it later, but I'm not promising you it later neither. So either take it or leave it, to me. Because, like, I love you to an extent. Like, I still love myself. I'm not about to choke.
Oh Lord, she had to take it
Girl,
there.
why not?
But
I'm sorry. No.
I'm not
It's
gonna
okay. You don't have
choke
to answer
because
that.
of
It's fine.
you.
It was.
No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying, like, there's certain things
You ain't gonna
that
die. Like, you're not gonna choke to
I'll do it
death.
now.
Wait,
But
no, I don't think she was
eventually
talking
I
about that
will.
kind of choke.
Oh,
You will
She
die.
wasn't talking about that.
what other kind of
did.
choke?
I wasn't talking about choke, but it's okay.
Like,
You the dish.
physically, like choke, like suffocate herself. It's okay, sis. We understand. You was in a whole different space. You was talking about something completely different.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Choke because you're not gonna die.
A big part of and one last. I have one last. I mean, people, to me, I think it is important, like, as a companion, that you do understand that it is about compromise, but at the same time is like you have to. There is a job that you have to keep, and I already talked about this in our previous podcast. It's just there's certain things that if you want to keep this momentum, keep that same energy. You know what I'm saying? Keep that same energy moving forward in our relationship. Like, don't do it now and then stop and then not do it later. You want to keep this going.
Jalal, anything to add to that?
No, I think you guys hit it on the head, but, like,
Yeah.
on the flip side, it's also not expecting, like you said, not expecting things later, like not going off of potential and hoping that something's gonna
that's a big one.
change.
That is a big one.
It's like, if they're not doing it now, they might not do it later.
Ever.
Okay.
Ever.
True.
Wrap it
All right.
True. Anyway, let's go ahead and cut this. Yeah, so I have one last quote to leave us with, and it is, when understandings arise, remember that we speak different languages. Take the time necessary to translate what your partner really means or wants to say. This definitely takes practice, but is well worth it. So just having that dialogue and being able to know that men and women, we do speak different languages, but we can come to an understanding and come into a balance that works for us. That is possible. So that is my final
I want our guests
thought.
to
So
have final
do you
thoughts.
guys have
I'm
final
not gonna.
thoughts?
You always have. You
I
go
don't.
first.
Not today. I don't got it today, y'all.
He can go first, but you can go second. How
All
about
right.
that?
All right.
So can you read like the last part of
Oh,
the
your
quote?
final thoughts don't have to be
Oh.
related to the specific quote, just the episode as a whole, or if you have anything,
You would add on to
any
it.
takeaways, or
Can you?
don't.
I feel like
Go
I had
ahead, girl.
Or I
something to
Go
say
ahead,
can
now.
Michelle.
repeat
Go,
it if
go,
you
go,
want.
go.
Yeah, sure.
Go.
Yeah, sure.
Y'all had the deep quotes. I'm like,
The quote. Okay. When understandings arise, remember that we speak different languages. Take the time necessary to translate what your partner really means or wants to say. This definitely takes practice, but is well worth
I think that goes back to the awareness. That's kind of what I was talking about. It's just being aware, picking up on cues that your partner's giving. If they're like, you can see that they're in a mood, kind of acting accordingly. And that's why I think empathy is so important, because something that your partner might do might not bother you, but you doing the same thing like might affect them. So just kind of understanding your partner and putting yourself in their shoes, I think is really important, so you can act accordingly, or just talk about it or compromise. Thoughts in general, though. No, I just want to thank you guys for having me on. Like, I really appreciated you guys reaching out. I like what you guys are doing. I don't think anybody else is doing it, definitely in the city, like this lane. And so it's really cool. I tune in as much as possible. I like the episode you guys had with the therapist. That was really good.
Oh, my best friend. Hey, Jazz. Shout out to you.
Yeah, that's important. Therapy is important. Mental health is important. So I like that you guys talk about a lot of those things and shed light on those topics.
Thank you.
Specifically
That's so
within
nice.
these
Yeah, that is
communities.
sweet.
Oh, thank
That's
you.
one of my favorite episodes for sure.
Yes. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We appreciate you taking the time out, bringing your thoughts to the table.
Definitely.
And our listeners know that all of this is just our opinion. So we're just out here bringing our thoughts to the table, having open dialogue about it, understanding that we do speak different languages, and that is okay. And we can all still come together and talk about that and bring it to the forefront. So that's why we do this podcast, and we want guests to come on the show, share their thoughts, share their opinions, and just bring it all and put it out on the table. So we really appreciate you coming.
Right.
Keep going. This podcast stuff is not easy.
At all.
Sticking
It's hard as
together and
fuck.
doing it
Man.
week after week. So just keep going.
Technical difficulties.
If you need
Computer
any help,
ain't
just let me know.
working.
Right.
Shit. Sorry, y'all.
No,
Obviously.
our audio's going to be bombed this week, though, because thanks to our
Yeah.
guest, he hooked us up with some great audio equipment, and we sound good, y'all. So this week, y'all ain't got to worry about, damn, shit. What's going
Right.
on this part?
What? Can you repeat that?
Wait,
Rewind
hold
that.
on. Let me rewind, because, yeah, it's going to be bombed this week, y'all.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say it's okay to choke for your partner.
Oh, you gross.
JK.
You the dish.
Just kidding, guys. Just
You the
kidding.
dish.
It's like, yeah.
Coming
This is-
soon.
This is probably kind of one of my favorite episodes.
For sure.
It was definitely a different perspective, and ladies, just so y'all know, there are good men out here. You just gotta shit. I don't
treat
know,
your shot.
dumpster dive or something.
Dumpster dive.
Maybe not
Dumpster dive,
dumpster
'cause
dive,
the
but you just gotta sort through the
What
bad
y'all
ones
need
or
to
something.
do
Because
is come to my speed dating event.
August 20th.
Go ahead, plug
I
your
was gonna say
your
27th.
stuff,
I'm
sis.
sorry, 17th.
August 17th in Denver. So
$30.
yeah.
Get your tickets now. It's a
Oh, it's in
discount.
Denver?
Or you could put a $10 early deposit down and pay it a little later for y'all people who like, paying stuff a little at a time. But I think check it out. It's gonna be professionals only though. I'm not no ratchet allowed.
Right.
I want to bring
Oh,
people
they're
together.
fine.
So I got to bring my resume or what?
How are you gonna filter through that?
Yeah,
It's gonna be a screening process.
background checks.
I'm convinced that ratchetness won't pay for $30 to go to a school.
Girl,
You will be
I'm doing my research. I really don't know. I really don't know how I'm going to feed through that, but I'm just going to put the words out there and see if people get insecure and say, "Oh, dang, like I don't know."
I
if
can't
I'm
go because I'm
like,
ratchet.
I don't know if I'm.
I
Yeah, I
like
am
it.
a little ratchet. Maybe I shouldn't
Be
go.
my true self.
Whatever. Anyway, but you never know. I'm just looking. The whole purpose is to bring people together who would never really talk to each other, who would never be like
In the same space.
in the same vicinity, in the same space, and even just talk and have an open discussion and be like, yo, I really feeling this person. I would never thought this person thought
I
on
didn't
that
know this
level.
person even existed in
So-
Denver. Here they are.
Exactly. And here they are.
We're gonna ask our
We'll
guest
see,
to
though.
plug his
We'll see.
social media because I don't think he did.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's at Jalal Sully. So JALALSULLY. That's on everything.
All right,
Yes.
cool.
Check out Mimosas After 1-2.
Yep.
We're 31 episodes deep
Hey.
and counting. So yeah, check that out.
Getting old.
You 31.
I'm following. I'm following you right now, so don't follow back because I don't like people.
Oh, he already followed Mona Voices on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
Thank
you.
I'm locked in.
We had a good time, y'all.
All right, y'all. Mariah, Yuna, what's good? Any final
No,
thoughts?
I'm good. I don't have no
We
final
done?
thoughts.
I shared
Just-
mine already.
Just yeah.
All right, y'all.
Love you
All right,
guys.
bye guys. Love
Bye.
you.
Later.
Peace.